Hello everyone, welcome to Root Chinese. I'm Jessie. I'm one of the founders of the Root Chinese, which is an organization aiming to make Chinese learning logical and easy. In today's video, I would like to talk about learning Chinese in 4 aspects. Let's get started. So the first aspect I would like to say is that some people may have learned Chinese, but not really. Here is an example. These are very simple Chinese characters. Do you know what does this mean? If you can't recognize it, and if I show you this sign, I'm pretty sure that everybody will know this is Huawei. What I want to say is that a lot of people have learned the pinyin of it, thinking it is Chinese. But if the real Chinese character is shown to you, you can't really recognize it. That's why I say you may learn Chinese, but the fact is you may not really know what the Chinese characters mean. In my Root Chinese, we're aiming to show you how to memorize and write and read the Chinese character. And the second thing I like to mention is that you guys already know a handy tool for learning Chinese, which is related with what you already know. The second thing I would like to mention is a very handy tool for you to learn Chinese. And this is related to what you already know. This tool is called Pinyin. Yes, we only use it as a tool to help us pronounce the Chinese characters. Let's have a look at Pinyin. The first one is one part of Pinyin. It's called 声母表. Now, if you try to make the sound of this, it sounds pretty much similar to the consonants. Let's try to make the sound. B, P, M, F, D, T, N, L, G, K, H, J, Q, X, J, Ch, Sh, Z, Z, C, S, I, U. I'm not sure whether you noticed or not. The only few different sounds, including in English, it may sound like J, but in Chinese, in Pinyin, the sound of it is Ji, Ji. The next one is next to it. Qi, Qi, Xi, Ri, Z, C, I, and Zhi. I understand in English, ZH never exists, but in Chinese, this is called zhi, zhi. The only thing you have to memorize are these sounds in circles, but it won't be difficult. We'll repeat them when we come across them, okay? 韵母表. This looks so similar to the vowels and the 2 letters that make one sound. So you can read after me. A, wo, I, U, Ü. And if you make this sound, we may pay attention to A. That here, it sounds like ah, open your mouth big. Ah, wo. Letter O is not all as sound in English, but here is wo, and then I is pretty much similar to the English sound, but U is never a, it's now U, Ü, Ü. So you have to make yourself familiar with these sounds. Let's repeat. A, wo, U, Ü. And below are the 2 letters or 3 letters putting together to make one sound. But if you remember the first line, you would be able to pronounce them all by yourself. Like A, I, putting together I. It's A, way, O, U. You may pay attention to all because A and wo doesn't make all sound. But you've got to remember all. It's okay. We'll come back to it when we come across those sounds with all, and you will remember it slowly. You don't require yourself to remember all of these. O. And then you can try to pronounce the third line. It's like an, in, un. And the fourth, ang. ing in English sounds like so it's like ing, wong. That's pretty much it. So you only have to pay attention to the little green line. 整体认读音节 means those you put together may be tricky for you to pronounce. Then it's easier if you can remember them as all. But at the same time, you can also pronounce them. Like zh, i. It's not g, it's zh, sh, sh, z, z, c, s. And the rest you can all pronounce them out. I, u, ü, ye, yue, yuan, in, yun, ing. It's pretty much that. I don't require you all to remember it now, but I want you to try to pronounce it and using it as a tool for us to remember the sound of those characters, okay? Now let's take a look at the tunes. You may have heard that Chinese have 4 tones that you have to make. So the first, second, third, and fourth. That's how the little line shows how they goes. And I'll just give you an example. Like a, wo, If you can practice these 4 tones for the 3 letters, that would be great. But don't feel stressed if you can't. That will take a time. Just keep practicing. So I'll show you. Let's have a look at the first line. Ah. The second line. Wo. Third line. That's the 4 tones. Again, we will come to it when we try to recognize the characters, okay? Don't force yourself to make it perfect now. Just keep practicing. Okay, like, for example, this is how I want you to practice spelling them, and then you know how to read it. This is a Chinese character, and this is the pinyin for it. We're going to use the pinyin as a tool to memorize how to read it. So, do you remember this? And then it's going up. The tone is going up. So it's ren. And then you remember, this character is called ren. That's how you should be practicing. Don't worry, we will practice more when we come to it. Okay? So just remember this because we're going to use this character later. It's called ren. Okay, now let's come to the third thing I'd like to mention. I would like to say that it's pretty easy to learn Chinese. You may wonder why. Because it is logical. Chinese is a very smart language because it is logical. Sometimes you can guess what the meaning of it from the look of the character. Okay, I'm going to show you some examples now. In Chinese, there are some pictographic characters. For example, this word. Remember what is it? Yes, you're right. 人. It comes from the image of a people walking, then to the word 人, and then there are some evolution, because sometimes the word of 人 becomes like a standing shape. But when you see that shape in a Chinese word, that means people. That means a person. Okay? So yes, it comes from image and there are some evolution. Let's have a look. Another word. Can you guess what does this mean? It comes from the image of a tree to the word. It means the tree, and it means the wood. Can you try to read it? M, U, and the tune in the fourth, so it goes down. M, U, mu. Yes, so this word is called mu. It's related to tree and wood. Okay, we've learned the character mu. Now, I'm going to give you another word, and you can guess what's the meaning of it. We can tell, can you tell that this character is made of 2 mu? This means a little bit more trees makes up bush. Yes, exactly. Bush. And now I would like to show you another word. Yes, it's made of 3 mu. Look, 1 on top, 1 and 2 at the bottom. This kind of means that there are so many trees and also they may grow really high. So this means the bush. and this means the forest. Now, you know the meaning of these Chinese words? This is developed by combinations, by putting the one mu together twice or third times. The only thing we need to know now is the sound of these words. So, you can try to spell it. Le, in, lin, and s, en, sen. Lin, lin, sen. So now, see, with my way of teaching, if you come across these Chinese words, you now understand. That means forest. And you now can pronounce it sen, lin, sen, lin. Amazing, isn't it? You already know and you already can read the Chinese words without saying the pinyin of it. I learned how to make the words like combine two together or three together. And I'm going to show you that there is a way to put two elements together to combine a word, and it also shows a picture. Let's have a look. We've met both before. This one means person. This one means mu, means trees, wood. But what if we put them together? This is a Chinese word. Now I hope you develop an image, a picture in your mind that 单立人, this one means a person. That one means a tree. And putting a person and a tree together is an image of people sitting at the tree. What's that person doing? She's having a rest. So, yeah, we can guess the meaning that this word means rest. You're right, actually. And now it's time to pronounce the sound of it. Oh, sorry. I've kind of blocked it. Well, the sound is sh, I, u, xiu, and it goes like the first tone. It's called xiu, xiu. See, when you ever see this word, you will think of a person sitting under a tree having a rest. That's the meaning of it. And you need to memorize the sound, xiu, xiu. So next time, you can read it. And the last point I would like to mention is why we call it root Chinese. What do you mean root? We've been learned this character means person. It's called 人. We've learned this word on the right means something related to tree and wood. It's called mu. And then, based on these words, we developed some Chinese characters and words. So that's why we learn these words first. We learn 人 and mu first. Based on these, there are so many words developed. And we design our class in a way that you learn the simple ones first. You memorize and practice it. And then you can learn all other words. There are way more examples of this. And the roots are the most important words that you need to get yourself familiar with. Based on these and your logical thinking, you can learn more words like this. Can you remember their pronunciation? This is 修 means rest. This is 林 means bush. This is 森 means forest. When we put 森林 together, it also means big forest. And that's how we design our language and help you learn Chinese easily. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed my explanation of how my classes will be. And I hope you like this way of learning Chinese and guessing the meaning and memorizing the sounds of it. I'm looking forward to make more classes for you. And please feel free to leave some comments on how you feel and how this could make your learning easier to me. I would like to adjust your needs into my class design. Thank you. See you next time.